What's going up, everybody? It's Teeny the Great back for another update video. So I've just been doing a lot of planning on the novel. I'm toying with a few ideas. I know I want to add new chapters, but there's a lot more that goes into that. So I've been toying with the idea of putting the chapters in a secondary character's perspective so that it switches back and forth between two characters. I already have one chapter in my novel that is from this character's perspective, and as it is, it stands out and it doesn't fit in whatsoever. So I want to put more in that instead of just changing that one to a different perspective. I like the way it is, so I definitely want to put the new chapters in that character's perspective so it flows. And there's a lot of missing information in my novel. As it stands, it's not complex enough. In writing, you'll always hear that conflict is interesting and conflict makes a good story. Because think about it, you'd never want to see a movie or read a book where nothing bad happens whatsoever. It would just be boring. So I think as mine is, there's a little bit of conflict, but the main idea of conflict I had when I first started writing the novel completely ended almost in the middle of the novel, and I brought it back a little bit at the end. So I definitely need to improve upon that aspect of it and put that conflict more into the story, integrate it better and bring it up more and make the story complex. And I think that I can do that in these new novels. There's these new chapters. There's also a few details that I noticed that I left out, that I had in the beginning that I left out towards the middle and completely forgot about. So I think these chapters will be a good spot to bring those back in. So right now I'm just kind of figuring out how I'm going to do all that, because I do have a story from beginning to end right now. So to put full chapters into that and mix it up, it's going to be kind of difficult. I don't want to disrupt the flow of the story. So I'm trying to figure out ways that I can put a chapter inside somewhere and connect it without having to change everything after that new chapter. So that's what I'm working on now, as well as how to put that in that one character's perspective, how to integrate details that I've forgotten, and how to bring up main conflict and put more conflict in there so that it's more interesting and complex. So that's basically what I'm doing with the novel right now, and I think because at this time right now it's just more planning and trying new things out instead of just writing and writing and writing. It's more planning, outlining, trying out, pretty much trial and error with how I want to write. And so my novel's not getting developed as like length at all right now, but it's progressing more of like the story itself and the conflict. So that's pretty cool, but I'm not going to have a lot to show for it as far as length goes, so I can't say, oh, I wrote a new chapter today, because right now I'm working on more of like planning and looking onto the book as a whole instead of just focusing on writing. So that's where I'm at right now, but since I'm doing that, I think it would also benefit me to work more on my magazine submissions, because I haven't done those in a long time. And I think those are good for me because it just helps me get my mind off the story if I need a break, or just practice different styles of writing, because in these submissions, I can write whatever I want to write, and I'm toying with new styles of writing, new genres of writing, new lengths of writing as well, because they don't want a novel, they want, either short stories or poems, things like that. So one thing I've noticed is that when I write a short story, it's very short. It's what they call flash fiction, which is about 1,500 words or less, which is just a couple pages of a story. And although magazines do accept those, I want to try something new. I want to try something in between flash fiction and novellas. So novellas are short novels. So I want to get in between there, maybe like a 20-page story or something like that. So I think that'll be fun to try to write things like that, as well as new poems, and just really experiment with my writing. And that's where I can do that, is in these magazines. So or for these magazine submissions. And then if I do get published in the magazines, that's a little bit of money and a little bit of publication that I need. So I think that'll be fun. So those are the two things that I'm going to be working on, more planning and toying with ideas of the novel, and once I settle on something, then I'll start writing and adding length to the novel. And the second thing I'm working on is magazine submissions, just to experiment and broaden my skills as a writer. So I think it'll benefit me, and that's what I've been pretty much up to. Nothing new yet. As far as the job goes, I just actually got back for a drug test for two jobs. One job that I'm pretty sure I already have, where she's just gonna call me back and tell me when to start, and then the other one that I don't have yet, but I'm pretty far into the hiring process, so I think I'll get the job. So then I'll just have my options open. But other than that, I've been pretty relaxed. Nothing too big, no big news to tell you guys. Yeah, I'm just working on planning. It kind of feels like I'm back to writing a new novel, because this is what I did a lot at the beginning of the novel before I wrote anything, was just outlining and just writing. I have pages of outlines where I'm just outlining the story, the chapters, the characters. I wrote paragraphs about the characters and how they'll be and stuff like that. And I've stuck to that pretty well. There's a couple things I've changed from the outline. There's a couple parts, just like small aspects of the story where, oh, I don't want this to happen, I want it to happen this way. And then the full ending of the novel is completely different. And I think that'll be pretty good. One thing I really like about writing is that while I'm writing one story or something, I get ideas for something else, because I never have just one project I'm working on. So I love that I can be writing something else and get an idea for a different story to work on. But I really want to focus on this because the ideas I've been getting are for another novel. And that particular novel I tried to write like a year ago, and I ended up quitting. So I think I really want to work on this novel that I have now and just develop it as much as possible and get it ready for publication. And then maybe if I'm going through, like, if it gets picked up by a publisher, if I don't self-publish, I think that'll be a good way, a good time to work on the other novel, which I have nothing for that novel whatsoever yet. So I think that'll be pretty cool. And I just like getting new sparks and getting new inspirations for writing. It kind of revitalizes my love for writing, so I'm not getting bored with the same old thing. And I think a lot of people have that with any of their passions. But yeah, that's what I'll be working on. I also, I'm trying to start up a website, and there I want to write a few short stories or maybe poems to publish for free on the website, so that people come and get a good look at my style of writing and see how I am as a writer. I think that'd be really cool, so I'm developing that right now, and that also gives me some new material that I have to write for. So those are the projects I'll be working on, and yeah, let me know what you guys think of that in the comments below about the website and to see some of my work on the website. If you guys want to see that, then let me know. So yeah, I guess that's it. I'm just going to be working on writing a few different projects and planning the novel. So I'll catch you guys next week for a new update video. Stay motivated, stay inspired, and stay happy. See ya.